Wow. Good morning.
And yet, we are not powerless in the face of these problems. You are not powerless to fix them. No generation has ever had more power than yours. And no generation has a chance to change things faster than yours can. The pace at which progress is possible has accelerated dramatically. Aided by technology, every individual has the tools, potential, and reach to build a better world. That makes this the best time in history to be alive.
You focus on, or what I do, I'm not sure this is the right thing, but I focus on what's right and decide that first, and then it's more about what you do. The issues that we weigh in on are issues we feel like we have standing. And by standing, I mean that we have a legitimate, unique position or lens on the issue, that we have something to value, something of value to say. That we're not just a talking head, right? That we're just not adding to the, giving an opinion, so to speak.
No big challenge has ever been solved and no lasting improvement has ever been achieved unless people dare to try something different, dare to think different. I was lucky to learn from someone who believed this deeply, someone who knew that changing the world starts with following a vision, not a path. He was my friend and mentor, Steve Jobs.
We think different. Mm-hmm. You remember that, and that is still embedded in Apple very, very deeply. It's to not play the game as it's been defined for decades or centuries, but invent a new game. Because people are so smart. You can generally believe that if you do things in the same manner, you're not going to get a much better result than people have gotten for years, decades, centuries. You have to come up with a different way of viewing the problem. And sometimes that is the hardest part of all of it, is to think out of box, to think different. But we try really hard to do that on all of these kind of things, because these are inherently hairball problems. Mm-hmm. You know, if they were easy, they would have been solved, but they are difficult, and so that's what we try to do.
You mentioned equality.
Yes.
Also, and is there a false choice that you see that people make when it comes to equality? Is there a narrative that needs to change there, and how did that come through you?
I think the false choice on equality is, if you give me more rights than I have, then you have less.
Because if I've learned one thing, it's that technology doesn't change who we are. It magnifies who we are, the good and the bad. Our problems in technology, in politics, wherever, are human problems. From the Garden of Eden to today, it's our humanity that got us into this mess, and it's our humanity that's going to have to get us out. First things first. Here's a plain fact. Silicon Valley is responsible for some of the most revolutionary inventions in modern history. From the first oscillator built in the Hewlett-Packard garage, to the iPhones that I know you're holding in your hands. Social media, shareable videos, snaps and stories that connect half the people on Earth. They all trace their roots to Stanford's backyard. But lately, it seems, this industry is becoming better known for a less noble innovation. The belief that you can claim credit without accepting responsibility. We see it every